Good afternoon. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Socorro. It's September 6, 2022. It's 5:33 p.m. We call this meeting to order.
Good afternoon. Starting with item number 2, establishment of quorum. Andrew Arroyos,
Here.
Enrique Cisneros,
Here.
David Estrada,
Here.
Julie Dominguez,
Here.
Miriam Cruz,
Present.
Juan Vaquera.
Here.
We have quorum with 4 commissioners present, 2 via Zoom. Item number 3, notice to the public, open forum. Isabella, do we have anyone that would like to speak?
No Collins.
Item number 4, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to approve and second by David Estrada. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain?
I just didn't say yes, but my vote is yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carried.
Tony, is Marwan on the line? Is Marwan on the line? We should probably, Mr. Chair, we should probably just hold off a few minutes till he logs in.
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat what you said? I couldn't hear.
Who was that, I'm sorry? I just mentioned that Marwan Bhatti is not on the line, ma'am, so we're gonna hold off till he gets on there.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry?
It's like 5 minutes.
We'll be going into a short break. We are now resuming at 5:39. I'm moving on to item number 5, public hearing request for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of a portion of Track 15, AKA P-1, out of Track 15, Lane Clark Survey Number 298, City of Socorro, Texas, and located on Gateway Boulevard, west from unclassified to C2, general commercial, and approving a conditional use permit to allow for a trucking company. Mr. Arroyos?
We open public hearing at 5:39. We don't have anybody. So we will close at 5:40.
Moving on to item number 6, consider and take action on the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of portion of Track 15, AKA P-1, out of Track 15, Lane Clark Survey Number 298, City of Socorro, Texas, and located on Gateway Boulevard, west from unclassified to C2, general commercial, and approving a conditional use permit to allow for a trucking company. Mr. Gallinar?
Yes, thank you, Yadira. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Carlos Gallinar with Planning and Zoning. So this is a rezoning from an unclassified zoning district. Next slide, yes. Next slide, please. From unclassified zoning district to C2, and then, as you know, anything that has to do with automotive use requires the conditional use permit. So this is, the request is unclassified, rezoned to C2, and then the conditional use permit. This will look familiar to you. You processed the plat last time that we met. So it's this parcel that's up north of I-10 near the city limits of Socorro. Here's just some more information to refresh your memory. So it's about 2.08 acres in size. The future land use map has this as light industrial. The land use, currently the property is vacant. And then, as mentioned, as part of the reading, they are looking to create a trucking company on this parcel, and staff is recommending approval. Here's the location map. Next slide, please. Thank you. Here's the zoning map. Next slide. One, go back, please. There we go. So as you see, it's currently unclassified. It doesn't have a zoning district. They can't pull building permits until we give it one, and so that's why they're here. So they're doing the plat and the rezoning to be able to move forward with their development. Here are pictures of the property. Next slide. Next slide, please. Shows the aerial, just to give you an idea. And then, as is required by state law, we did notify the public within 200 feet of this property, and that information is also in your backup. And we have received no public comments on this case. And then just wanted to show you the final plat, next slide, that you approved. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. The next slide shows the summary request. So again, the request is to approve a rezoning from unclassified to C2, and then also to approve a conditional use permit to allow a trucking company on this land.
I'd like to, I think we kind of went over all the stuff that we, all the questions that we had about 2
Yes,
weeks ago
sir.
or whatnot. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve, if anybody else has any questions.
I'll second the motion.
Additional questions.
Ms. Cruz, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. But I would ask the chair for leave to ask those questions.
Do we have to stop on the motion to approve, to go back into a question, or?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, there is a
Oh.
question or there's not a question?
So I made a motion to approve and it was seconded, but Ms. Miriam Cruz wants to make an, she wants to ask a question.
Sure. It's up to you, Chair. I mean, you're the chair. There is a motion and a second.
So do we have to make a motion to,
I don't know,
Approve,
Marwan.
or can
There's
she
a
just
motion
ask?
and a second, Marwan.
Yeah, so you can either go ahead and take the vote on the motion, or you can open it up as a chairperson for a discussion. Your call.
So we'll open up for discussion. Make a motion to open up.
I don't think a motion's needed. Right, Mr. Swati?
Ms. Cruz, go ahead.
Yeah,
You had a-
he could be he can recognize, anybody to, give them a time to discuss, and you can also put a time limit on it too if you want.
Ms. Cruz, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Give
Thank you,
3
Mr.
minutes.
Gallinat. I had a question, because I remember I asked this last time about whether or not the applicant or the owner had any sort of plans to leave some of the front used for some sort of, commercial. I'm thinking, right, fast foods, maybe Dollar General, whatever. So my question's more towards you. In being that this property is along I-10, as a city planner, how do you envision that anything along I-10 should be used, sort of, similar to where this land is located?
Yeah, Ms. Cruz, again, the applicant, so it's I-10. It's very different to have a frontage on I-10 to say it's near the fountains of Farah versus frontage on I-10 in Socorro, Texas, right? There's already C2s, there's M1s, there's M2s, and so the use that the applicant is proposing, which is a trucking company, fits with the characteristic of the area. Again, M1s, M2s, logistics centers, warehousing. And so, just based on what they're looking to rezone it to, which is a trucking company, I think it's an appropriate use.
Would you say it's a preferred use?
It's a preferred use to the applicant, ma'am.
Oh, no, for you, Mr. Gallinat, as a city planner.
I can't answer that question, ma'am. It's not, it is what it is, right? It is, again, adjacent to other similar uses.
Okay. And then my question, because I don't remember and I don't have my notes in front of me, I forget whether it was going to be parking, selling, whether it was going to be a shipping. I don't remember if the applicant is the applicant there available to answer that question.
What's the question, ma'am?
What kind of trucking business is it actually? I mean, is it parking? Is it selling trucks? Is it fixing it? I mean, what kind of?
Mr.
I
Gallinat,
just don't remember.
I'm sorry to differ, but does it have anything to do with us approving it or not approving it?
I don't know, sir. I mean, it is a C2 trucking company. I think they're parking trucks? Yes. It's somebody's trucking company, and he's parking his trucks? Yes, 15 total trucks. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Cruz, do you have another question?
Well, I did it for the applicant, but y'all don't seem interested in finding out more information, so that's okay. We can move on.
Fermin Dorado, representing the applicant here today. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have or any clarifications that you need. The owner is proposing a parking lot for semi-trucks and semi-trailers. There'll be a total of 15 trailers parked there at any given time. It'll be used on a daily basis for regular working hours between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. There are
Thank you
no
so much.
proposed structures at this time. At some future time, there may be a proposed structure, but we will go through the necessary process of obtaining a building permit and things of that nature.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I'll go ahead and second the motion again.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to approve, second by Julie Dominguez. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain?
Abstaining.
Ms. Cruz, was that an abstain?
Yes, I'm abstaining. Thank you.
Motion carried. Moving on to item number 7, public hearing request for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Lot 1 and 2, Block 4, County Green Subdivision, City of Socorro, Texas, and located at 791 Soya Drive from R1 single-family resident to R2 medium-density residential to allow for 2 duplex units. Mr. Arroyos?
Yes, we open public hearing at 5:49. So if no one is here to speak, we close public hearing at 5:50.
Moving on to item number 8, consider and take action on the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Lot 1 and 2, Block 4, County Green Subdivision, City of Socorro, Texas, located at 791 Soya Drive from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Medium Density Residential to allow for 2 duplex unit. Mr. Gallinar?
Yes, ma'am. Once again, Carlos Gallinar with Planning and Zoning. So this is another rezoning that's in front of you. This is on Soya Drive, and as was stated into the record, it is for 2 duplex units. So just as part of background, the zoning currently is R1, so the request is to go from R1 to R2. There is a single-family residential right now that is dilapidated, and it is expected to be torn down. The size of the lot is about 16,634 square feet, which makes it a little bit weird because if you recall, both the R1 and the R2 requires 10,000 square feet minimum, regardless whether it's a single-family home or a duplex. And so when we spoke with the applicant and they came in with their proposal, they will have to move the line, and I'll show you in just a second the 2 parcels, but there's 2 parcels on this project. So if we were to ask them to move the lot, say, complete it to 10,000 square feet, then it would have left 1 parcel at 6,000 square feet, which would have made it a little bit weird. And so in his proposal, that is why he's coming forward with the duplexes, which is 2 duplexes, recognizing that there is a little bit of a shortfall on the required 20,000 square feet. But again, when we spoke with him and they brought in the site plan and they did the design, which we think is really well done, there's landscaping, there's ponding, that is sort of what we're basing the recommendation on, right? There's other R2s, there's even some R3s within the neighborhood. And so, again, just wanted to make sure that we pay attention to the site plan in addition to what is being asked as part of the rezoning. The future land use map calls this as residential. The land use, again, as I mentioned, there is a single-family residential that is a vacant house. The proposed land use is residential, and that's the 2 duplexes. Again, the rezoning, the request is from R1 to R2 to allow 2 duplexes for a total of 4 units, and staff is recommending approval. Next slide shows the location map. So this is on Soya and Lydia Road, that subdivision behind North Loop. You have the Mesa Drain behind this lot as well. So as you notice, there's 2 lots. Each of those lots is about 8,300 and something square feet. Here's the zoning map. Next slide, please. Shows this as R1, single-family residential. The orange that's on the frame of the zoning map is R3, and then the next map shows you. I know that in the past, the commissioners have wanted to see if there's other R2s or other R3s, and so this map shows you. You see the address of 791 Soya. So this address shows you where there are multiple other R2s and R3s within the neighborhood. And here's the picture of the property. So again, it's a vacant, dilapidated, single-family home. Here's the aerial. Here's the public notice that did go out to 200 feet of the property, and we have received no public comments as of today. And then here's the site plan that shows the 4 units. You see the landscaping, the driveways. Each unit is about 1,000 square feet. And again, just based on the characteristics of the neighborhood that has other R2s, other R3s. That neighborhood, if you're familiar with it, is a mixture of mobile homes, a mixture of some apartments, some single-family, some duplexes. And so in looking at it from, again, land use, zoning perspective, that is what we're basing our recommendation on. And the summary of the request, again, is to approve the rezoning from R1 to R2, and it meets all the other dimensional standards, so there's no setback requirements, there's no variances for setbacks or things of that nature. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chair.
I don't have any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Ms. Cruz.
Thank you. Can you just go back to the last slide? Thank you. Mr. Gaynett, I'm trying to find where the parking area is, and maybe my screen's not big enough. But I'm trying to, is it gonna be, I guess, maybe street parking?
So there's a driveway that's in the boxes in blue, if you will, are the footprints of the housing. And then you
Right.
see that there's some orange lines that go down towards the street.
Oh, I just saw it. Yes.
And so
thank you
those
very
are
much.
where you would have the parking spaces, ma'am.
Yes, okay, perfect. And can we go to the slide before that? Okay, and is the applicant available? I was,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Maybe. Maybe one more slide, because I'm not seeing what I had in mind.
Yes, Tony Valderrama for the owner. Oh, sorry about that. Tony, hi. And
Thank you so much
what was the
being here.
question?
Oh, no, I was just wondering if you were present, because sometimes the applicants don't show
Yes,
up.
oh,
but that was-
we're present, both the owner, Mr. Morales, and myself.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time. Actually, and so my question was for Mr. Guinard, but maybe you'll answer it.
Okay.
It's about, Mr. Guinard used the word dilapidated building. Is that building going down? So
Definitely, definitely.
So that
It-
building isn't gonna be built on top of or stripped down and then built? It's
No.
gonna,
No, it's going to be raised all the way down to the ground, foundation,
Sure.
everything,
okay, that was my question. Thank you so much.
surely.
Do I
I'd like
have
to
a
make a motion to, Mr. David?
So I'm confused on the, on what you talked about a while ago regarding the lot sizes and the 10,000 and the 6,000 square
Yes,
feet.
sir.
Can you go over that?
Yeah, no problem. So the R1 requires, both the R1 and the R2 requires the lot to be at least 10,000 square feet, right? So in speaking with the applicant, and when he brought it in, the reason that he's doing the two duplexes on the 16,000 square foot lot, because remember, each lot is 8,000 square feet, right? So he's going to have to replat to take the line away. And so if we were to say, okay, Mr. Applicant, we will only allow you one duplex on the 10,000 square foot lot, you're gonna have to move the lot, right? Because it's 8,000. It would have left a parcel that's like 6,000 that really you couldn't have used for anything, right? Because it has to be at least 10,000. And so that's why he is now proposing the 4 duplexes on a 16,600 square foot lot. Just again, that there's a better use of the land, the way that he's incorporating the land, the units, the parking, the landscaping, as opposed to just doing one duplex on one 10,000 square foot lot and then having this empty space that's just there wasted.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
so this is for rezoning, and then we'll end up seeing a lot split on
You
this
should
as
end
well.
up seeing a replat,
A
correct?
replat.
Because it's already
for a
platted,
lot. Okay. A replat, turning it into 2 separate lots,
make it into one lot,
into one lot, the
Yes.
16,000.
correct.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
I'm good. Okay, thank you.
I'll second the motion.
May I ask who made the first?
I don't think anyone made a motion. I'll make a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve
Okay.
first. Yes,
I
ma'am.
make a motion, I have a motion, I apologize. I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to approve, second by Julie Dominguez. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 9, consider and take action on the proposed approval of preliminary plat and variance request for Rancho Resendes subdivision located at 911 Spark Circle, being Block 3, Track 4C15A, Socorro, Texas. Mr. Gallina?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chair and Commissioners, this is a subdivision. There's a preliminary plat on this. This lot has never been, let me make sure. Yes, so this lot has never been subdivided. The applicant is looking to subdivide, so it's a big piece of land. There's already 2 homes in there that were constructed, I believe, before the city was incorporated. And so they're looking to, it's a lot split, to be able to separate the 2 lots. So as you know, subdivisions require their preliminary and the final, and they are only coming in with the preliminary, so at some point in the future, you will see the final, even though there's no public improvements being dedicated to the city, but there are structures on the land. There's 2 homes, and you'll see in just a second. So the zoning is R1, single-family residential. It's about 1.2 acres in size. The address is 911 Spark Circle, not too far from here. Future land use map has this as rural residential. And then, as I mentioned, there are 2 single-family homes on the lot currently. The proposed land use continues to be residential. They don't anticipate to change the structures, with the exception of tearing down a few of the sheds that they have in the back. And then again, the request is to approve a preliminary plat, essentially for a lot split. And then there is a variance on Lot 2 for the rear yard setback. The staff report says Lot 1, and so I just want to correct that. The staff report should be Lot 2. And we are recommending approval. Here's the location map. Here's the zoning map. So it's R1 single-family residential. As you could see, it's one long elongated parcel. Here's the property pictures. The picture on the top shows the home on Lot 1, and the picture at the bottom shows the home on Lot 2. Here's the aerial image. Here's the subdivision, and next slide, please. And then that dashed line shows where, essentially, where the lot is being subdivided for the 2 lots. And then, as I mentioned, there is a variance, and the variance is, the request is a reduction of the rear setback. It requires 25 feet, and it's currently at 22 feet. And that is all. This is a picture of the subdivision plat that shows it, so it's noted on the subdivision plat that it does need a variance. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions, if anybody else does.
Can they go back to the previous slide, please? Thank you.
Mr. Gallina, and they're only asking for the variance because the building's already built.
Correct, sir.
Yeah.
Do we know when it was built? Sorry, Mr. Nettles.
We don't, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion for approval.
I'd like to second that.
I have a motion made by Enrique Cisneros to approve, second by Andrew Arroyo. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Any nays?
No.
Was that a yes?
It was a nay. Yes.
Yes, correct. That was an A. Any abstain? Motion carried. Moving on to item number 11, consider and take action on the I apologize. Item number 11, consider and take action on the proposed approval of subdivision, replat of Socorro
Yadira,
Mission.
I'm sorry, I think you missed number 10.
Yes, I apologize. So one more time, try this again. Item number 10, consider and take action on the proposed approval of preliminary and final plat for Capristo subdivision located at Bovee Road and Alameda Avenue, being all of Block 13, Track 8B, Socorro Grant, Socorro, Texas.
Thank you.
Mr.
Yadira.
Gallina?
Yes, ma'am, thank you, Alida. Mr. Chair and Commissioners, this is another subdivision plat. This one is the preliminary and the final. This is the zoning is, next slide, please. The zoning is R1, single-family residential. It's a fairly large piece of land, or decent-sized piece of land. It's 13.4 acres. The address is on Alameda and Bovee Road. And the future land use map actually has this as commercial. The land use is vacant, currently it's vacant land. The proposed land use is for residential land use. And then the request is to approve a preliminary and final plat for a subdivision that includes 4 residential lots. And while there are no public improvements, the plat is dedicating 15 feet for the future expansion of Bovee Road. Whenever that happens, there's no plans currently, but when plats come in, we try to start aligning the land for future expansion. And so the plat will dedicate 15 feet to the city of Socorro, unimproved. And then again, there are no other public improvements. That's why you have the preliminary and the final together. Staff is recommending approval. Next slide shows the location. Here's the zoning map. So it's R1 single family residential. Here's pictures of the property. Here's the aerial. So you have Alameda north of this. It's the street that's on Highway 20. Here's the preliminary plat. It shows just the lot lines, the ponding areas, the topo information, and then the final plat shows the lot lines. And so again, it's to subdivide into 4 residential lots. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Gallina, what's the square footage on each one of those lots? Do you have those? They're pretty big, huh?
It's about 3.4 acres, so times 43,560, 120,000-ish, 125,000.
I don't have any
Yes, sir.
questions. Any other questions?
Mr.
Estrada?
Gallina, do you know
Miss-
I know they're a little bit different sizes, as far as width. Would you be able to tell us what the shortest one is, or is the applicant there available to tell us what the smallest one is?
Smallest one is 68 feet, ma'am.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Mr.
And I
Estrada?
can-
I'm assuming that that this parcel, as it is right now, it has irrigation rights? I'm assuming.
I don't know,
If
sir,
it-
but I'm assuming so too, because it's right on the canal.
Do the rights, they'll automatically transfer even though it's a lot split or rezoning or whatever?
You know, I don't know.
Okay. I'm just wondering.
Excuse me.
I'd like for it to keep the water rights, but, you know.
Yeah, I don't, I
large
think that would,
parcel
and it's
to not have
so the owner, and the applicant might be on the line. I know they were gonna do a Zoom, they were gonna call in by Zoom, but the owner, is my understanding, is wanting to transfer these to her kids. So there may be some agreement between the family, but I don't know if she intends to keep the water rights.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to approve, second by Juan Vaquera. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carries.
I meant to vote yay. Sorry, I didn't know I was on mute. In favor. My apologies.
Was that a motion for, to approve?
Yes.
Okay,
I was
thank
on
you.
mute. My apologies.
No problem. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, and we're going to ask to delete item number 11. There's a variance there's a variance that's part of the case, but we neglected to add it to the agenda, to the legal wording of the agenda. So we'll bring it back in 2 weeks.
Make a motion to remove item 11.
Thank you.
A second.
May I ask who second?
Mr.
I
Estrada.
have a motion made by Miriam Cruz to delete item number 11, a second by David Estrada. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 12, Planning and Zoning Commissioner Report.
I don't have anything to report. Does anybody else?
Ms. Cruz?
Mr. Estrada?
Moving on to item number 13, Planning and Zoning Department Report.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, I don't have one today, but thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to item number 14, consider and take action on the adjournment of this meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to adjourn, second by Enrique Cisneros. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 6:11. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.